everybody. Whatever you're doing doesn't matter. A new prototype-centered trailer for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 has dropped out of nowhere. What I'm gonna do is play it for the first time, uninterrupted, watch it with you guys, get my first reactions to everything we're about to see. I don't really know what to expect. Then I'm gonna go back and focus on whatever stands out. Alright, we got a Huggy and a Kissy already right on the floor. Just regular hallways, nothing new. Okay. Almost like a little barbershop chair in front of a projector screen. A new glove. Okay, that doesn't look like it goes on our grab pack, though. It looks kind of big. Oh, we got the spider and wow. Messing up that floor on the way. We got poppy heads. A lot of poppy heads just out. But is it related to Poppy, or is it just spare parts? I also saw the goo, which was revealed in one of the earlier Chapter 5 trailers. God, there's so much going on. We're gonna have to go back. There's just corpses everywhere. I did see a Huggy glove hanging. Whatever that is on the table is and through better days. I knew we weren't gonna get to see the real face. Wait, are we? There's no way. There's no way we're gonna get to see the face. We got the hands up over the legs. We see it's time to come home. Chapter 5. Broken things. And then the way the broken things just shatter. We got a release date? No way. February. 3 weeks? What? 4 weeks, I think. We're that close? Oh. Say less. Say less. Oh God, okay, let's go back. Wait, is there more? Wish list, Steam and Epic Store. Mob Entertainment. Is that it? Alright, so I want to go back. There were a couple things I wanted to make note of. So, first of all, this to me, if you look really closely, this almost looks like a chair you would sit in like either like an old-timey barbershop. I can see how somebody would say that this is for like, it's weird. It's like a line between a barbershop chair and like an old-school dental chair. Obviously, neither is sitting in front of a projector. Let's move forward a little bit. Now, I want to look at this glove, because if you look at this right here, there's a couple things I'm noticing about it. First of all, it's not, I mean, aside from the obvious, it's not attached to a grab pack already. It's not sitting on a conveyor belt line like when we got the green hand originally in Chapter 2. It also has, I don't know if this is a dial or if this is just like an aesthetic choice. And then also if this is some kind of meter. Perhaps I could see like similar like a pressure gauge or like a gas gauge or something like that. You know what I mean? A low and a high end. It doesn't look like any other of the 4 hands we've gotten so far, though. See, red, blue, pink, green, 5. 5 because we get the flare gun. It also looks huge. Is it me? It's something about it. It might just be perspective, but like even just looking at the light above it by comparison, that looks like a huge hand, which makes me wonder if there's something on the hand. There's 6. There's 6 actually. So it makes me wonder if maybe there's some kind of, it makes me wonder if the prototype made this himself for a specific use, or if there's just another hand we're gonna get in the chapter. I want to jump around a little bit more. We did see in one of the teaser images sort of what these legs look more like. Now, we saw in Chapter 4 the shadow, more like you see in the back there, when you and Kissy and Poppy are kind of hiding in the crack in the wall. We saw that before, and we're left to kind of interpret. But looking at this image now, and also the image we got a week or 2 ago, seeing that it really is just top to bottom metal, I do know that there are, from the other image, what looks to be maybe a little bit of bone, tendons, ligaments, muscles, muscle tissue. Is it to say the prototype doesn't operate as robotically as it looked like the doctor did? It looked like there was a lot more human left in the prototype to some degree. Interpret it however you will. I'm interested in this shot because obviously Poppy isn't the only Poppy ever, but she's supposed to be the only living one, or at least that's what we've been led to believe throughout all these different experiences. She was the only one put into a Poppy doll, I believe. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of reminds me of like when you're getting a tattoo, like right here, the files on the table next to the machine. I'm wondering if this is from, you know, what I don't see people talk about is the fact that it's hollow. You know what I mean? Like, for a doll, the shaping needs to be for the head or the arm or the leg, whatever it might be. And then, like, there'd be sockets for the eyes or whatever have you, or if it's like a doll that eats, like maybe a jaw. But the inside is usually either mechanical or completely solid. The fact that this is completely hollow, like a porcelain head, it almost makes me wonder when they do the transplants and they do the experiments, either with the goo or whatever else they're doing, how much human is left. You know what I mean? Is it the brain, the eyes, and certain muscle tissue, or most of those things even artificial at this point? You know, how much of them is human and how much of them is the doll that they're becoming? I'm interested in this. So this is the goo we saw on the ground in the other trailer. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I almost wonder, with like the Poppy head looking like this, so hollow, obviously she has eyes and whatnot. But when you look at this goo and they keep drawing attention back to it, I almost wonder, are they just like a couple of vital organs are in them and then the other like 80% of their insides are just this goo? Whether it's from the poppy flower or if it's poppy is just an ingredient in it, whatever it might be. It really makes me wonder inside how much of them is living and how much of them is either this goo or what they're being put into. It's never really clear, especially because they talk about how hungry they are and the fact that they have to eat. At least on screen, you're not coming back to safe haven and, you know, we lost a couple more. Anything you know about that is just them saying, please, I haven't eaten in weeks. So they have to be inhuman to some degree and human to some degree to make all of that make any level of sense in this nonsensical world that we're living in right now. The prototype right here going for certain containers, like he's about to perform surgery on either one of the experiments, or perhaps, like right here, this one that's on the table over there in the left, it cut to it at one point and it looked like it was twitching. So I'm assuming that they're operated on completely alive and not just brought back to life after the fact. I will say that you see a huggy or a kissy glove right there, but you don't really see anything else from them there. Yeah, like right here, it's twitching. But if you look really close at the foot, look really close. Not the red fur going around the base of the foot, but coming out from it. Those are just red veins. Like, watch real close at the foot. Those are just straight up veins on the top of the... You know what I mean? And there's... Really, it's so unclear how much of them is still living and how much of them... This is such a great universe. They're just vague enough about everything to make you ask a million questions. But at the same time, they won't give it to you. They just, he's a little bit, did Scott Cawthon write this game? Or like, that's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've tried to hold chopsticks before, okay? It's an art, practically. You're gonna tell me that the prototype with these Edward Scissorhand looking fingers is holding that surgical knife? No, sir. No, sir. Now, this little turn, when you kind of see a glimpse of him in the reflection, you don't really get any detail. Like, I don't know, like, there's some white to it, but I don't know if that's, like, does he also have some kind of porcelain face similar to Poppy? Obviously, he's not gonna have a Poppy face, but, you know, like, I don't think any other characters that we've seen throughout the games have any level of, like, a porcelain, or even, like, I keep saying porcelain, but it's just, like, even, like, a plastic, like, that typical doll face, like, everything, like, doughy is completely dough, huggy and kissy are that sort of, like, cushiony felt material. Mommy Longlegs has that frickin' Polly Pocket, Betty Spaghetti looking whatever. I'm gonna get hit by copyright for just saying all these brand names, but now right here, so he's big enough that like, he's bigger than the halls. Like, I will say this, like, the fact that his legs are all here is one thing, but, so presumably he's got 8 legs. 2 on each side, 2 on the front, 2 on the back, just typical, like a spider. But the fact that the side ones are lifting up and pushing off the wall like that, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, for scale, picture any hallway you walk through Poppy Playtime, he's gotta be ever so slightly bigger than those hallways, which gives me kind of an idea of what it'll be like if we have to, you know, if there's another chase scene like there is in every single chapter, he's literally going to take up the entire hallway behind us. Almost kind of like the Nightmare Huggy chase in Home Sweet Home in chapter 3. I will say this. I don't know if anybody else has pointed this out. So anytime we've seen a glimpse of the prototype so far, we see one hand. There's the one hand that drags Mommy away. There's the one hand that comes down and kills Catnap. And then in 4, my mind is spacing right now. I don't off the top remember a moment with a prototype's hand in 4, but like, this is the first time we've seen fully his body and that he has an actual left and a right. Even that image that they released last week, it showed the legs and Poppy in front, and then it showed one hand with a flower kind of coming down in the center front, almost leading you to believe that that's like his hand, like singular. But here we see that, you know, he's got 2. That's just an interesting thing to know. So I'm just wondering, because there's got to be a line, because there's still the debate on if he's rebuilding himself or improving himself with the corpses of the other bigger bodies, or if he's just remained his independent thing, and it's more metaphorical when he says he'll make me because Mommy says they'll make me a part of him, if that's more metaphorical, whatever it might be. There's so much to talk about in this trailer.
It's time to go home.
Here's the thing, it's time to come home.
It's time to go.
We're still living in a world of this whole, is this just prototype is Leaf Pierre and Poppy is his daughter? Is it more metaphorical than that? Like, was she just one of the proudest experiments? You know what I mean? And it's like, come home to where you were created, as opposed to come home to like, it's time to, what are those voices? It almost sounds like either Ollie fading into prototype, or Poppy fading into prototype. Obviously not really them, but prototype reenaction of them. But like, it's time to come home.
It's time to go.
Like, usually when the prototype talks, except when he's talking to Harley Sawyer, there's a purpose behind the voice he's choosing. Like, when he needed to fool them and think Ollie was real, he was able to stick to just Ollie. It makes me wonder, back to the first 4 chapters, how many voices we heard when we weren't seeing things that might not have even been. And then broken things makes me wonder, is it metaphorical, like they're all broken? Or is it more literal, like if you go with the dynamic of it's Leaf Pierre is a prototype and Poppy's the daughter, is it a broken home? You know what I mean? It's time to come home. Broken things, a broken home. There's so much to chew on here. And I think it's great that we actually have a release date, because I'll be honest with you, I want them to take their time with this game, because I do think that 3 was stronger than 4. I like 4. I've never been a 4 hater, and I never will. But 3 was, in my opinion, the strongest in the 4 so far. So I do want them to take their time, which it looks like they've taken as much as they're going to. But at the same time, it's like, you can only chew on what they give you for so long before you just need answers. And you also want to strike while the iron's high, you know what I mean? But if they don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard when you think about it. This series has been going on for like 5 years at this point. 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And well, they're called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1 chapter 2. 3, 4, 5, which is a weird name scheme. It's one game. That's really what it is they released it in parts. But it's not like a sequel. So really, we've been playing one game for 5 years. And it's really interesting to see us get to this point. I don't know for sure if this will be the last chapter. That's what the whole internet seems to think, although that's never been declared. They never once said, this is the last chapter, Mob Entertainment. That's just something we all decided. So it is interesting to me, and it will be interesting to see how that goes. I also do want to point out that, like, when something's called the last in Poppy Playtime, it's not. Chapter 3, Poppy looked at us and said, Catnap is the last obstacle the prototype put in front of us. We're now 2 chapters later. Prototype's still alive. We don't know what became of the corpses. for sure of everyone we have defeated. You know, we came in contact with Pianosaurus Rex. Poppy still exists, Kissy still exists, Doey still existed up until the end of 4. Possible the locks in the other trailer we got was it like Luna Lovebirds or something like that. It's some kind of name like that. It's facing me right now, but it's clearly the last obstacle was in no way, shape, or form the last obstacle. So to call this definitively the last chapter we're gonna get, I think that's way too early to say. Also, unless Mob Entertainment has their next game lined up, that their next universe they're gonna take us into, they'd be putting this one to rest in a month. And it just doesn't feel like, I don't think they're ready to say goodbye to Playcare in the Poppy universe. So whatever theories you have, please leave them in the comments. Let me know. I am very excited to see what all this means. I'm very excited to be running from Mr. Water News here, which is all I can think of. I don't know any other Monster Inc. bands, but that's all I can think of when the prototype comes on screen. And that's pretty much all I had. That's my take on it. This was really interesting. Let me know. Bye, guys.